Warning, the following video has flashing lights and also includes content that may be deemed inappropriate for some viewers. Viewer discretion is advised. Brother Nature, aka Nooksium. I see you have decided it is time to awaken me from my slumber so that you and I can rev up another episode of Midnight Lycanthropy. And I do appreciate the gifts you have brought me. Allow me to feast. Much better. I enjoyed that very much. Yet, unfortunately, for me, I will have to finish indulging on my gifts a little bit later. Without further ado, it is time for Brother Nature and Starfox to take a walk into the madness.
Stood up. I said, oh my god, it's a werewolf. And everybody in the car freaked out.
My creatures of the night, once again, I see you have decided to tune in for another episode of Midnight Lycanthropy here on StarFox Radio. It is once again time to nerd out with the Midnight Society Science Team. Yes, Nooksium, aka Brother Nature, the Master Tracker, is once again sitting around the late night fire so that we can burn the early morning timber in an attempt to figure out what the heck is occurring across the country. Nooksium, man, how the heck you been, bro?
Oh, Kenny, thank you. I'm doing good, man. Thank you. I just got off work. I'm feeling good. I'm happy to be here. Hello out there, everybody that's listening in. Happy to be here. Thank you.
Appreciate you popping in, and I'm hanging in there, man. Just been busy. I got a pretty loaded up night in a good way, sitting down with you. And then I got Small Town Monsters after, and then a couple more members of our science team after that. Just been trying to get my content out to YouTube, messing around with new things to see what maybe helps out with views and the algorithm. And pretty much no exaggeration, man. All I do every day of my life is edit, try to find great minds such as yourself to sit down with and chat, share my stuff around so that I can get monetized. Then I do the same over. It's pretty much it, man.
You know what? I'm like a firm believer in the interconnections of phenomena, Kenny, and all those viewers out there. And you know, I believe in a few things. Like Kenny has special talents that I personally don't have. Right, I spent a lot of time out in the wilderness, actually most of my life. So I've been trying to stay away from computer and technology. This young man right here, well, you know, the younger generation, they grew up with technology, and this guy is, you know, highly technologically advanced, way more than me. And I'm just so happy and blessed that he's my buddy, because he actually teaches me many things about technology. And, you know, I do different things, right? And he has this knowledge, and me, I'm out there still to this day, I track. Like, it's raining. Finally, a good storm here in California, and then it'll be raining for the next 4 or 5 days, and in another 7, 8 days, that's when the tracking here in California is going to be, and it's going to be peaking. So I'll definitely be out tracking, and have a few other spots that people have been calling me and letting me know about that I have to go investigate. So I'm kind of looking really forward to the next, I'm looking for, hey, I look forward to every single day I'm alive. But, looking ahead, I'm looking forward to going tracking to these areas where these folks have told me where they had a few sightings of different cryptids. So that's where I'm at with that. So anyway, thanks for listening and hanging in there with me on that, Kenny. Thanks so much.
Appreciate you, man, and kind words right there to everyone, including yourself and myself. Education and learning things is actually pretty simple to try and do that daily. It doesn't matter what you're learning, but just knowledge in general. It is absolutely excellent that I can translate that back to you and help you out, because you've definitely taught me some things which are pretty amusing on my end, because I'm not a tracker and people just send me these things. I'm like, dude, that's not a Dogman track. They're like, what do you mean? I'm like, what do you mean? What do I mean? You don't want to know what that is? And they ask, and then I tell them, like, well, you're not a tracker. I'm like, you are correct, but watch this. And then I'll get your response, and it's the same thing. So it's pretty funny.
Yeah.
It's good stuff.
Well, thank you. I do love tracking, and I love looking at not only at my tracks, but I love looking at others' tracks, right? I mean, I had to start somewhere. And way back in the day, I'm talking 1987, I'll tell you, how old I am, way out there in my interpretive student aid training academy, the teacher of that day that was showing us tracking showed his tracking collection, excellent, from Alaska all the way to wherever he was going. And I was young and an inspired naturalist at that time, so I was totally happy looking at this dude's tracks. And actually, I have tracks from dingoes in Australia. I have tracks from moose from Wyoming, and wherever I go, I make sure I do a little cast of a track of any kind, one little animal, and to me, like tracking, I'm hooked, man. Once you track and you get the bug, and it's that one-on-one with nature I've always been talking to you about, man. Just, hey, you could just forget about all your worries in the world, take off 2 miles this way and come back the same way, right? And then you're gonna see things. And even if you think you're seeing nothing, that's not true at all. You're seeing the visible face of the earth. Whatever is there, the plants, the trees, the shrubs, the grasses, the insects, every living thing is out there. So that's where I'm at with biology and, naturalizing.
Excellent stuff right there. That's the way a lot of people in general should try to approach things. I mean, I've tried to distinguish myself as much as possible away from the general clickbait type of individuals that just really want to pass around all that stuff. Really try to just get in with people that have an open mind towards the subject, but we're really trying to figure it out. Like, here's one for you, like you said. All right, so you have a lot of people in the Bigfoot community that won't look at anything Dogman related. Okay, totally fine. But to everyone out there, I watched something the other day that I don't even know how many cryptids there are, but there are so many cryptids. And after hearing about all these interesting and gnarly things, I only literally believe in a very slim amount, which we'll talk about some other time. But the example I'm going to give here is, like you said, you have the Bigfoot community that won't look at anything Dogman, right? But then they're willing to buy into the Bat Squatch, and then also the sheep squatch. Wait a second, time out here. So you're gonna be able to take information and think that there's a giant goat type thing walking around and a flying Sasquatch with bat vampire wings, but you're not going to even take a second to look at something that we actually have evidence for, because those other two, there's no evidence whatsoever. There's only a couple encounters, whereas Bigfoot, you have tracks like you have, and also the Dogman, etc. But it's just interesting to me as to why people take that approach, because personally, this is just my thoughts on it. I think a sheep squatch would be either a Dogman or a Bigfoot just wearing some sort of skull on its face. We have numerous reports, and I don't know if it solidifies stature or, either or. How can a community think a giant flying Bigfoot bat, which has no evidence, is real, but then they won't look at, like you said, tracks?
That's a really good point that you just made. And I'll tell you, I'm not all right with that, because I have a Master of Science in Science Education degree from California State University, Hayward, right? And I've been working in the field as a science teacher 34 years, and all that time I've been teaching tracking. I make my own tracks, right? So as a camaraderie, as a science person, those people out there that are in their positions of so-called science, they should be more open-minded to what we have out there, like these Dogman tracks that I have. Who else has them? I don't see anybody else pulling anything out with them. I've talked to several. I've asked several of these cryptozoologists to help me. Because I'm pretty good, man. I went over there and I tracked this son of a gun. And you know what, man? That was the son of a. That was one of the more tougher assignments that I've had in life of tracking. Right, when you have something tracking you, it's a little different. So anyway, I believe that these scientists should have a more open mind to, okay, this human being right here, Stephen Noxian Barrios, who is I took the time just like them to go get a master's degree, just like them. Hey, man, I came up with something pretty interesting. And if I say something, I think you should take a look at it instead of downplay it and refuse it. And, that's what I've gotten from these Bigfoot people. They just have flat out refused me. But not only them, a lot of other people in the cryptid field have done that. To me, the cryptid community has become cryptid. But that's all right, because I'm still here, Kenny. My tracks are still here, and I'm still standing right behind them, because I know what I tracked, and nobody else in the world has these tracks but me. I did see other people have similar tracks from around this country. And, little by little, people like you are putting it out there that there's some things going on out there. All these other people, they can't be lying, right? Are we all in a mass delusion? Are we all bullshitting? I don't think so. And not only that, like I said, I put up a camera and I did get a few photographs of this creature. And, my challenge is still to these guys, even though I'm mad at you all out there, get it together, man, because I'm still alive. You should check my stuff out while I'm still alive. So that's my point of view on these scientists that are out there. We're more than just a community of Bigfoot Sasquatches. We're a community of cryptids now. I've never come across what you say about this bat squatch. I have not seen a bat squatch. However, I've seen a squatch. I've seen the Dogman. Hey, I'm 3 years down the line, man. I'm still hanging tough. And remember, you and me back in the day, you've actually helped me out. You were my therapist way back in the day, Kenny. Remember how pissed off I was? Guys like you and a few other really nice people that I've met during this time have cooled me down. So I'm feeling a lot better about it. 3 years down the line, though, it's time for us to take these tracks to the next level. And we need to get them analyzed by some other cryptozoologist, biologist, tracker. I got nothing to hide, man. I know what these tracks are. And you know what? Laser scan will prove it even further. Different kinesiological movements that are not visible to the average eye. A tracker can see them. That's why I plastered them, man, because I'm a tracker. And I saw them and I plastered them. And so my challenge to the community out there is still here. Get it together. Get your act together. Get your science together. Before something weird happens and I'm not here anymore, I could show you these and tell you what I know about them, right? That's where I'm at with all this stuff, Kenny. So, 3 years down the line, okay, I still have post-traumatic stress disorder. I can't sleep at night. But it's all good, man. I still have my soul, my spirit, and my sense of humor, I hope. So, so that's where I'm at, man. Just, thanks for having me here. Just, I can't believe my good fortune. Just I get to speak to you.
Sí, amigo, gracias. I appreciate that, man. Great stuff right there. So we got some stuff that we're going to be able to churn out, like you said, and we have the same technologies. We'll be able to definitely get out the proper information that really should be out to individuals that are diving into the topic. Again, like I said, there's just so many cryptids.
That's interesting in itself, because I believe in that phenomenon, Kenny. I've actually have other encounters, like I've told you, of other cryptid creatures in this world, and I even have a friend of mine out there who knows more about that than me. But however, it's just another one of these things that I've encountered. I'm gonna tell you what I'm gonna do for you, bro, because I actually even have one of these on camera. I have a photograph of these little creatures that are unexplainable. And other things. I don't bring them out, man. And I'll tell you why, in a lot of ways, many people shouldn't even know about this. And then when I tell anybody this, they're so skeptic, they roll their eyeballs at me. They don't realize a lot of things, man. One thing, my family, there's a lot of us in the family that are clairvoyant. And, we're seers and we're revolutionists. And not only that, we're Native American. My people have been here thousands of years on this, what we call the United States of America here. And, we're not even supposed to even talk about it so much, only under certain situations in a powwow, and where I can invite you in the circle and we can explain certain aspects of the world that is real, that is not seen. So I'll give you a little tidbit there, but there are things out there that we don't even realize, and our human activities on this planet opens up gateways for these things to come in. So maybe that's another topic, another discussion at another time. But I can't downplay other people's eyewitness accounts on, like, a bat squatch, even though I've never seen it. I could say, you know what? Now that is a distinct quite possibility. And all these people, I hope someday we'll hang out with how I like pizza and a good pitcher of beer. We hang out, man. We do a slideshow and hang out together and really get down and talk about what really, what is out there and how to protect yourself when you're out there, right? My advice to everybody all the time, dusk to dawn is the human time. And never go alone, and safety in numbers, bro. That's what I think about things out there.
No, for sure. Great stuff right there. It's just interesting, like you said, there's way more scientific evidence to support, like the Bigfoot and the Dogman. The same people that aren't willing to look at the Dogman and Hyena and the Beast and all this stuff are willing to dive into Bat Squatch. And I don't know, I'm just a very scientific based individual, meaning I look inside and outside of the box, but if someone wants me to take a topic serious, they need to show me reasons why. And I mean, I have 550 pages as to reasons why people have, seen these strange canine-like creatures called Dogmen, and you have tracks. We have handprints that have been sent to us, all kinds of things that fall into the scientific realm, which is why I take that serious. If anyone ever wanted me to, per se, take like the Jersey Devil or Bat Squatch or any of those things serious, they would just have to show me reasons besides testimonial, I guess, if that makes sense. It is, still interesting. I mean, these people are very adamant that they saw something for sure. You actually are a perfect person to ask this about. I don't know the exact back date as to when this occurred, but a woman that she's like the tribal community leader, more or less, meaning she is not indigenous. She's basically like the middle person.
You don't have to say no more. I know who she is.
Yeah, okay. Between like the officials, I believe her name is
Kathy
Strainer. She was talking about how there was a time where these Sasquatch-like beings were getting way too close to these indigenous people's lands, and they even took a baby one night right out of the hands of the mother. A bunch of the warriors got together and actually hunted down, disposed of one of these. Well, the rest of the Sasquatch weren't happy with that, and then they started attacking the indigenous villages every night, basically trying to destroy everything. But the thing was, they were using sticks and rocks, and the indigenous culture had their arrows and fire, so eventually it just subsided. They came to some sort of natural agreement, and ever since then, that's why there's certain sections of the woods that indigenous cultures stay away from.
Well, they pushed them up further away and into the mountains at that point in time, right? And at that time, the Sasquatches, they became totally wary of human beings that, hey, these creatures can actually do harm to us by using this flame, by using this thing that can stick into our bodies, right? And, they're highly intelligent creatures. So they say, hey, you know what? All right. Territorial. This is us. This is you. And at that point in time, there was a split in the divisions, and that has happened more than just once through history. You could wherever these creatures have been, there has been conflict between humans and these things until the point where they've gone to the deep ends where they are now. But we humans, we're adventurers. We keep going further into their territory, and now we're coming in contact with them again. And, we don't really know an entirely whole lot about these things, but we do know a lot about them. So, there very well could be rogues, or teenage Sasquatches that are doing damage here and there. Just like humans, as we develop into elders, right? We get knowledge, and hopefully we're able to think about things before we actually do them. So there's things like that through history, Kenny. But you hit something earlier. You said something earlier that is where I'm at with this too. Is that you okay? I'm looking into the science of things, that the scientific evidence of things, and you're a pioneer, man. You're like right here in the forefront of one of the hardest programs to get things across to people. That there are things out there like called Dogman, werewolves, and where they're bipedal and they're moving around, and they're carnivorous. They're wolves, man. So they're not eating vegetables, bro. They're eating other living creatures. That's what they do. And so the scientific evidence is, okay, I see you. Okay, you're a serious dude on this. I've read a lot of your things, your viewpoints. I've checked you out a long time. That's why I'm hanging with you, man, because I know that you're the real deal, and I'm the real deal too, right? Because I don't cast nothing unless I know what it is. So I have these animal tracks, and to me, you and I are going to take these things to the next level. You're my business partner, I think, in many ways. And as a matter of fact, there shouldn't be anybody else, or there could be other people involved checking these things out. We want to get them laser printed. We want to get them scanned. I feel like people like you should be there to look at the science behind all of this that we're going to put together. Um, Shane, Chris, I want him to be there, right? Uh, there's a number of people, and I'll name them next time, man, because we're just getting through things. But there's Donna Fink, over there in Michigan, and there's, believe me, there's a lot of beautiful people that I've come across during this time, and they're all more than welcome to join us, because to me it's just like, hey, man, I want to show you what I have, and I want to show you the proof that I have. And I'm not doing this for my ego or nothing like that. We're doing this for science. And not only that, we're not talking just to talk. We actually think that they and know that there's a phenomenon taking place. Anyway, this is so interesting right now, is that I have a bunch of folks here at the Roundtable Pizza that I've been talking to you right now. I don't even know if I could continue talking tonight, but let me let me hear your views on what I just said, Shane.
That's hilarious. No worries, man. I mean, we'll be able to wrap this up here a little bit. That's all great stuff, and thanks for the kudos. I feel the same way about you, my friend. I purposely try to avoid most people get terrible anxiety. A lot of people just stress me out, and there's no way to live life, which is how I figured out the path that I wanted to pursue on. I'm very loyal to my small tribe, but for example, my best friend is like my squirrel. I love just spending time with her. I love seeing, other neighborhood animals and stuff, and just being able to distance myself from like the chaos of people. Totally appreciate you having that faith in me, man, because I don't know, ever since I was little, I have a whole entire room full of autographs, all right? And I'll send them to you sometime. The only one that I haven't got actually from the person was Clint Eastwood. I won that in an auction, which is awesome. And I mean, yeah, right. No way I was going to meet Clint Eastwood. Like I said, I'll show them to you sometime. But some of my more favorite ones are Jeremy Swayman, from the Boston Bruins, their goalie, which I've been watching him since his days at the University of Maine. And I got Ronda Rousey up there, who I've been able to meet a few times down in Boston. Huge fan of her. Alex Morgan, another huge, awesome, female soccer player. So these type of things, even 11 in my room, instead of having wallpaper, I would just cut out pictures of my favorite celebrities from magazines, but I was like a 11-year-old male, so they're obviously mostly females, like Paris Hilton, Pamela Anderson, whatever, just these people I loved. Jennifer Love Hewitt, Sarah Michelle Gellar. So my whole room were my favorite celebrities. And I would just always look up at the wall, tell myself, because I didn't have the best life growing up, which whatever, boo-hoo, we all have stories. But I really wanted to do something big in life, matter, and be successful. And fast forward to now, same thing with all these pictures up on my wall. I tried to make sure that I'm able to use that as like motivation and just try to tell myself, all right, well, even though people that are supposed to believe in me, like family and etc., who don't, I have all these people on my wall that I've met and have seen my artwork and all this, and they're like, wow, you're doing an amazing job. So really try to use that as motivation, man.
Yeah, all those people are good motivators from the like way back in the day. I come from a baseball family, so we had Roberto Clemente big poster on our wall, right? So
Yeah, he was the man.
he was our main man back then, and I actually was able to see him play back in 1969. My dad took me to Candlestick Park to see the Giants, and that was one of my first games I ever saw in Major League Baseball. So I don't know. Those are all motivators, right? Even like Jane Goodall is a good motivator, right? She could be right up there with us, right alongside Roberto Clemente and all the big heavy hitters, right? David Attenborough, he should be up there too, right? And all these wonderful naturalists that have taught us so many things throughout the year. They should have big posters up, and we should be adoring them like we do these athletes that we have out here, because I would love a big poster of David Attenborough and Jane Goodall up on my wall rather than a lot of these athletes that are up there today. But that's just my personal point of view.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. Those are both really excellent individuals for sure.
Check this out. I want to give a big ho to my former boss. His name is Mike Kozlowski. And I'm going to tell you something, man. Okay, as far as biologists go, that man is the top-notch man. And you know what? I don't say that very easily, because you know what? You got to be one tough naturalist hombre. And you know what? He would be one of the dudes that I would have with me and us as we analyze these tracks. He moved to British Columbia. So I lost contact with him a little bit. He retired. He's an older gentleman too. I don't even know if he's still alive. However, if you're out there in the cosmos and anybody knows Michael Kozlowski, have him get a hold of me, because, man, as far as naturalists goes, I haven't come across anybody better than him. Okay, sorry to say this, other than me, but I'm not supposed to say that, man. But he taught me many, many things. So I'm just giving a kudos to him. Not only that, Kozlowski's a tracker. So he would look at my tracks and he would just say, "Oh, you did it again." Because, he knows, man. And he's up there in British Columbia right now. So I know that he's hearing Sasquatch stories. And he's probably up there tracking himself up there. Hey, I hate to say this, but I'm at a round table pizza right now. I just got a lot of people coming in here. I want to thank you for having me on your program tonight, StarFox.
All right, bro. Well, I appreciate you hanging out with us tonight, and we'll get you back on here, not next week, the following week if you want, and we'll pick up where we left off. So thanks for hanging out with us tonight and sharing your knowledge. But yes, to the Midnight Society, Mr. Nuxium, aka Brother Nature, must tend to other things. He's been busy all day. Yes, he needs to rest, but we will see him very soon. And thanks for hanging out tonight, bro. I appreciate you.
Thank you, Kenny, and thank you out there, North American Dogman Project. I just love all you folks, and just totally thankful for having you in my life. And you all take it easy now. And I'll talk to you next time.
My creatures of the night, yes, I do adore every single one of you. And thank you for tuning in tonight. Please like, comment, subscribe, feed the algorithm, and tune in for more content.